everyone, and welcome to our very first lecture on machine learning. So in this series, we are going to start from absolute basics, build a strong mathematical understanding, and then move towards implementing real ML algorithms. So today's focus is on understanding what machine learning is, why you should learn it, and the different type of machine learnings. Now, why you have to learn machine learning? First, you have to think that if I'm going to learn something, why exactly I should learn it? So if you see, machine learning is everywhere. Now you'll ask me, भैया बताइए कैसे है, कैसे है machine learning? Now how is it? See, maybe some of you who has iPhone, you have Siri in it. It unlocks only when it is able to process your voice, right? How does it recognize your voice? It is, the magic is machine learning. You open Netflix, you open YouTube, you see some set of videos being or some set of movies being shown to you. Now those movies are of the same genre which you like. How? Because it is analyzing what movies you have watched in your past or what type of videos you have watched in your past. Now using those data, it learns, okay, it learns and it tells exactly, okay, the user likes this, okay, now I will deliver him this is also something which user would like, okay. Now you're asking me, okay, what is this x maps to y? Okay, before we move on to this, okay, let me first tell you what exactly machine learning is, the definition. Okay, so the definition, the simplest definition I can give you, machine learning is the science, okay, is the science of getting computers to learn from data without being explicitly programmed. Like in traditional programming, you write rules and the computer follows them, right? You write algorithms, it follows them. In machine learning, instead of writing rules, you feed the computer examples, data, and the computer figure out by itself. Like think of ML as teaching a child. You don't explain all the grammars, right? एक बच्चा है, you won't explain everything to him, right? Okay, you give them sentences and over time they learn the language, they figure it out by themselves. So mathematically we can say, as I said, mapping a function to another, okay, this is called machine learning. So basically the function, usually at first it is unknown, the computer's job is to figure it out and based on the examples you provide. Now what is mapping concept? As I mentioned, the ML is about mapping input to output. Let us visualize that. What mapping exactly means? What am I telling? What is that f? What is x? What is y? For example, this is my phone. Imagine this as a machine learning dabba box. I feed an input from here and then I get an output from here. Now, this whole box is doing some kind of processing. What processing? To understand about that processing, you use these mapping things. Okay, like for example, imagine you have two components or two variables. Uh, for example, you have this thing, house's price. Let us take it as X. Okay, there is some logic here, and suddenly the price for that X is Y. What is this logic? What is happening inside this F? That can be figured out by understanding machine learning. This can be a function, maybe a function like a linear function, maybe it can be a curve, curve like this, maybe the price goes up, the size of the house increases, maybe it is not increasing exponentially, maybe it is increasing logarithmically. Okay, anything can happen. So in real life, this mapping can be simple, like predicting prices, or very complex things like recognizing whether an image is a cat or a dog, which involves convolutional neural networks, CNN, transformer models. The principle remains the same, that you have to map certain data to certain data, make a logic and process it. Now, in this, you have learned what exactly is machine learning. Okay, now How many types of machine learning are there? So before I tell you the theory, let's connect to the things you have already experienced in your life. I can tell you the theory, you can read it from the slide, but to connect, to understand properly, you have to relate everything from real life. Now think about YouTube, the same example which took earlier. Every time you watch a video, YouTube recommends more videos you might like. But notice, in some cases, it seems to know what exactly you want to see because it has seen your similar viewing patterns in the history. Now, in other cases, it just groups you with some people who watch similar stuffs, even if it doesn't know what exactly you like or not. Like sometimes, you might also like, you would have heard these things. You might also like, because there are other people who has seen these type of videos, and YouTube thinks that there is some union between you both, watching patterns, so you also might like that video. Now, let us understand what is supervised learning. Okay, imagine a student learning math with an answer key. Okay, he's having a guide or he's having a teacher. You see the name, supervised learning. Someone is there to supervise him. Okay, like I can tell you the example from my notes only. Teaching a computer how to do something by showing it the examples. Okay. Now imagine a student learning a maths with an answer key. I said you this. Now every time he or she solves a problem, the teacher, the teacher tells them if it is right or wrong. Over time, what will happen? The student gets better. Same thing happens with machines. The machine learns from labeled examples where the correct answer is known. Okay, like example, predicting house prices based on past data. In Google Mail, Gmail, you would have seen spam mail, not spam mail. What happens? It is trained on some set of data which inside the data set only it was written that if it is like this, it is spam. If it is not like this, it is not spam. It is supervised. Unsupervised learning. I said about supervised, right? You might have understood. Now, what is supervised learning? Now, let us understand through an example. Now, imagine you're in a room with strangers, full of strangers. Now you have to group them. You don't know their name, you don't know what they like, but then you see that these strange people are sitting and talking about sports. Some group, there is a group, they are talking about sports. Then there is another group, they're talking about tech. Now you would think, okay, there is something common between these things, these people. So let me group them on the basis of tech and sports. You just notice patterns. These people are talking about text, so those are talking about sports. That's unsupervised learning. The machine finds pattern in unlabeled data. Let me give you one more example. Like you want to group the customer with similar shopping behavior. Okay, you then, for example, you go to a supermarket, and then there are people like who tend to do shopping more on some kind of sale. There are some people who do shopping in the end month or starting of the month. So there are some patterns, and you group those people. We will go inside unsupervised learning in more detail. I have just given a basic overview because we are going to start with supervised learning. You can see the definition. There is reinforcement learning where think about teaching, like a dog trick. Every time it does the trick correctly, you give it a treat. Okay, reinforcement learning is like that. When it makes mistake, no treat. कूदो मुंह में लेके आओ तो ट्रीट देंगे, नहीं लेके आएगा लकड़ी पकड़ के तो ट्रीट नहीं देंगे. Over time it figures out what is right for him, the actions to get more rewards. That is reinforcement learning. नाम में लिखा है reinforcement. You are reinforcing something. So the machine here learns by trial and error through reward and penalties. Okay, like example, a chess player, okay, self-driving car, something like that. That is the thing. That is about reinforcement learning. Now, we have, I think, unsupervised learning. No, supervised learning. In supervised learning, there is one thing which is about I missed. That is about classification and regression. Okay. Inside supervised learning, you have basic category of classification and regression. Now you see the name and understand what it is. Classification, class. Okay, you are categorizing and the output into some class, 0 or 1. As I mentioned earlier, email spam detection. It is a spam or not spam. So you categorize any output inside a class. Okay, so that is classification. Regression method is you predict a numerical value. You would have seen in machine learning that you get accuracies. I am 84% confident, the model is 90% confident, 96% accuracy. So that type of predictions, that comes under regression. So to predict a numerical value based on input feature, you have linear regression, polynomial regression. So the next lecture, I will be teaching you exactly what is regression, linear regression, and mathematics behind both. Logistic regression, linear regression, the difference between them. I'll be teaching exact maths because coding we'll do. But I want to teach you the exact mathematics behind the concepts. So this was an introduction video. Stay tuned. If you like it, do subscribe it. It helps me, motivates me. I'll meet you